Kabuki is a famous traditional Japanese performing art which has more than 400 years of history. In 2009, it was designated by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage. Nowadays, Kabuki is well known not only in Japan but also all over the world. But actually, Kabuki's origins were very different. So today, we'll talk about Kabuki's history. Welcome to the Japan Report. I am Meshida, and he is a Kabuki researcher and self-proclaimed comedian, Ken Suzuki.
Hello, I'm Ken Suzuki. Meshida-san, what does self-proclaimed comedian mean in English? Why did you use such a difficult word in the introduction? Does it mean a funny or a brilliant comedian? Did you praise me?
I don't know. I just wrote comedian, but Rai-chan changed it to self-proclaimed comedian.
Let's ask Rai-chan. Hi, Rai-chan. What does self-proclaimed comedian mean?
What? Oh, it means a very self-confident comedian.
Really?
Ken-san, her name is Rai, so maybe you'd better check for yourself.
Self-proclaimed 自称コメディアン White bitch.
Today's theme is this. Ken-san, can you tell us about the history of Kabuki?
In 1600, after the big battle of Sekigahara, some of the samurai who lost began acting strangely and were called Kabukimono, or people who displayed deviant behavior. They wore crazy clothing, such as women's kimono, in weird ways. They often formed into groups and committed crimes. One day, a woman, Izumo no Okuni, imitated their fashion and started dancing in a riverside tent, expressing their behavior through her dance. It was called Kabuki Odori or Kabuki dance. It was very new and crazy because the women acted as criminals as they danced, so it became very popular, not only as entertainment but also as an anti-establishment movement.
Wow! If it were in China, all the actresses would have gone missing.
Meshida-san, in China, those minority people couldn't have made entertainment in the first place. They would have already been taken away for re-education in a camp.
Ken-san, be careful. Recently, the Chinese Communist Party checks social media, and when they find people who say negative things about China, attacks them online using the 50-cent party, internet commentators who are hired by the Chinese Communist Party.
My fellow China, 我爱中国. He wrote this fucking joke. He is a piece of shit. I can't believe it. I can't understand English. I just read what he wrote. 对不起.
My fellow China, I didn't write this. Rai-chan wrote this terrible joke. I said this joke isn't funny, but she said you should try it. So, 对不起.
At least, I don't have enough followers to be noticed.
The Japanese government will probably try to cancel me first.
The dancers who danced Kabuki odori or Kabuki dance were called eta hinin. They were discriminated against by society and were the lowest in the hierarchy in Japan at that time.
So, you mean the origins of Kabuki? This traditional performing art was the crazy street dances done by a discriminated against class?
Yes, these crazy street dances were gentrified and are now an important part of Japan's culture.
Ken-san, our comedy show also has a chance to be gentrified.
Do you know why the dancers became popular? It was because they were sexy and attracted heterosexuals. Meshida-san, 90% of your YouTube subscribers are creepy men. Look at your appearance. It's impossible to attract heterosexuals. Instead of becoming gentrified, your comedy is becoming creepified. If comedy is about creating social change, yours isn't important. It's just impotent.
Ken-san, you don't know about impotence.
I don't need to get hard to be spanked. The Kabuki dance that was performed by Izumo no Okuni included sexual dances that expressed romantic, erotic situations in tea houses or brothels.
That's the reason why the Kabuki dance became very popular all over Japan.
Yes, the audiences were excited to see women dressed like crazy men, acting out having sex with prostitutes in tea houses.
You could say the origins of Kabuki were also those of Japanese porn.
As female Kabuki dancing became popular, many yujoya or brothels adapted Kabuki odori. At that time, many new castle towns were being built and lots of new brothels opened. Then Yujo started dancing Kabuki odori and it fascinated men. It was called Yaro-Kabuki or Prostitute-Kabuki. During their performance, they started using shamisen as music for their erotic dances. Some brothels hosted big Kabuki events and 50 to 60 yujo performed at the same time with more than 10,000 people watching them.
About 10 years ago, a famous Japanese TV program, Onedari Mascot or Begging Mascot, was very popular among men. And they made an idol group, Abyss Mascots. It was composed of porno actors and models. I thought it was a very new idea, but actually it had more than 400 years of history. Ken-san, do you know Onedari Mascot?
The major scene is boring for me.
I cannot believe it. You always onedari or beg for something from a professional woman.
Meshida-san, I'm not interested in begging mascot. I want to beg a wild cat and be scratched and peed upon. Another type of Kabuki also became popular. It was called Wakashu-Kabuki. Wakashu means teen-aged male Kabuki actors aged between 12 to 18 years who had bangs and looked so cute. Wakashu-Kabuki was Kabuki performed by beautiful young men.
I heard that at that time, Wakashu or young actors worked as male prostitutes in kagema tea houses or male brothels. They were popular among both middle-aged men and women.
Yes, back then in Japan, homosexuality was not rare. It was more like young people having sex nowadays, slightly uncommon.
But there are things that never change. now and in the past, young actors need part-time jobs. Never mind a sexual tea house. A middle-aged actor like you couldn't get a job in Starbucks.
Maybe I'll set up a prostitution company called Starbucks. But many problems occurred because of Yujo or Wakashu. Samurai fought and killed each other over dancers. So then the governor prohibited these kinds of kabuki to prevent the discipline from being destroyed. Then instead of these crazy kinds of kabuki, only Yaro-Kabuki was allowed to be performed. Yaro-Kabuki was performed by adult men. So nowadays, adult men play female roles and they are called onnagata, or an actor who plays female roles.
Yaro-Kabuki is what we think of when we hear kabuki.
However, when people first heard that the kabuki style would change and it would be performed by middle-aged men instead of young men and women, people must have been disappointed and shocked.
It was like if the cheerleader movie Cheers was performed by middle-aged men. Imagine if you went to a kabuki theater and looked forward to seeing a beautiful young man, and instead Ken Suzuki appeared. They must have felt just as much disappointment and regret as those who go to watch Ken Suzuki's comedy shows.
Meshida-san, shut the fuck up. My comedy show is better than yours because all your audiences are creepy men.
I see. Your comedy show is definitely better than mine. No one criticizes your comedy skills because no one watches. Your joke is like your dick. You practice every day, but the showtime never comes.
Fuck off. You only perform for creepy men. Can you even get it up without an audience?
Ken-san, can you even get it up with an audience? What does it mean?
I don't know. Lai-chan wrote it. White bitch. As you can see, nowadays, people misunderstand Kabuki as high-class culture, but this is totally wrong. Originally, Kabuki was entertainment for the common people.
It started as a sexual street dance and was an anti-establishment movement. It's as if the Occupy Wall Street movement developed into a high-class ballet because of prostitution.
So, you could say Kabuki is a very unique part of Japanese culture. When you come to Japan, please watch Kabuki!
Have you ever watched Kabuki in Japan?
No.
Ken-san, thank you very much for coming today.
Meshida-san, thank you very much.
We will start hosting English stand-up comedy shows.
Japanglish stand-up comedy show.
So, please check out Funny Japan project page. We have an Instagram and Meetup. So, click the link below.
I have my YouTube channel. My channel is funnier than Funny Japan project. 虎はよプサンハへクリウネヒョンジェ